Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
One Sabbath, when Jesus went to dine at the house of a ruler of a Pharisee, and they were watching him carefully. Now he told a parable to those who were invited when he noticed how they chose the place of honor, saying to them, when you are invited by someone to a wedding feast, do not sit down in a place of honor, lest someone more distinguished than you be invited by him, and he who invited you both will come and say to you, give your place to this person, and then you will begin with shame to take the lowest place. But when you are invited, go and sit in the lowest place, so that when your host comes, he may say to you, friend, move up higher. Then you will be honored in the presence of all who sit at the table with you. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. He said also to the man who had invited him, when you give a dinner or a banquet, do not invite your friends or your brothers or your relatives or rich neighbors, lest they also invite you in return, and you be repaid. But when you give a feast, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed, because they cannot repay you, for you will be repaid at the resurrection of the just. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Please be seated. My dear friends, my dear children, today theme of the homily is rather easy said than done theme. When it comes to humility, I don't want to put you to shame, but then it's important that I ask this question, right? Can you raise your hands who think that you are proud? Who think that you are proud? Can you raise your hand? I feel that I am proud. I'm not happy about it, but then if you feel that you are proud, can you raise your hand? That I'm a proud person. No one? Very good. Then I can't help but ask the other question. If you feel that you are humble, can you raise your hand, those who are humble? Okay, one. Those who are humble. Okay. Others? As if you are dumb, not living. Good for the parliament, you know. Vasipattata hoya type. Anyway, better we keep away from the trouble. Anyway, my dear friends, if you feel the very best way to diagnose, identify whether you are proud or not, if you think that you are humble, you are dangerously proud. Because you never know if the humble person will never identify that he himself as humble. You know. And pride is something very deceptive, and it blinds you to think that I am very humble, you know. And that person's pride is terrible. That person inflated mind, you know, that person's this thing. And you always judge the other person thinking that I am right. I am very humble. Humility does not mean, my dear friends, that you just lower your head. Sometimes you are very, you wear shabbily and a very humble person. It won't, my dear friends. It deals with your thoughts. It deals with your thoughts. How you think about yourself? How you judge the other person? If you find fault with always the other person, like Martha, and she started working, and she was anxious and came to the Lord and said, Lord, Master, you don't consider that only I am working. My sister is just seated and just listening there. She's not helping me. Please tell her, ask her to come and help me. Because I'm right and she's wrong. My dear friends, even today, with Jesus was invited for a banquet to a Pharisee's place. Had you gone through the readings, weekly readings, my dear friends? Of course, he was a blackguard. I mean, blame all the Pharisees because they are whitewashed sepulchres, they are whitewashed tombstones. They cover themselves and they show off. They put on another self, wear a mask, and Jesus is finding fault with them. And of course, they wanted to kill the Lord. They always wanted to find a place, a loophole to find fault with him. Yet today, he's going to one of the leading Pharisees' place. We will never do that. We will never do that. Go to a place to dine with that person, and still they were watching him carefully, the gospel says today. Still he goes there. That's humility, my dear friends. That's humility. I mean, if you want to be humble, you have to see my son, perform your task in meekness. Then you will be loved by those whom God accepts. I mean, if you realize yourself exactly, who am I in the real way? Of course, in that way, gospel is a mirror where you can see yourself, true self, not an inflated self. Why you inflate yourself? I mean, we call a pride person, the proud person, the pride, we call them inflated minded, swollen. If something is swollen in your body, some place is swollen, it is infected. It's not normal. So if your head is swollen, there's something wrong. So inflated mind, if you're proud, your pride, I mean, you're not normal. But then you have to identify it. Normally a swollen place, if you touch it, it gives you pain. Sometimes you're hurt all the time. You cannot get on with that person. He or she pricks your thoughts always. Irritates you. You can't stomach that person. You want to react. You are fish out of waters. When you see that person. Nothing wrong with that person. That person pricks your pride. My dear friends, today the gospel is inviting you. Identify your pride. It's not easy. Because pride is very deceptive, very deceptive. You have to identify it. Jesus saw how people were looking for higher places, prestige. Because they wanted something outside. Because they are empty inside. They're empty inside. Always find yourself. Probe into your hearts and see. I want that acceptance. I want that recognition. I want that. I want you to thank me. I want you to appreciate me. I want. This I concept, ego, is terrible. Because I am empty within. Jesus never had a problem of finding a proper seat. In their Jewish culture, of course, they had, nowadays, wedding or ceremony or something, we don't have seats separately. They all have the same seats. But then in that culture, they had seats into a gradation. Respectable places and all the spacious were very important people. My dear friends, Jesus never wanted it. The reason why, in prayer, he went to the mountain in Tabor, and the Lord spoke to him and said, "You are my beloved son, and I am well pleased of you." In Jordan, he heard the voice of the Lord. "You are my beloved son." Before the ministry, before everything, he heard the voice of Apache, Appa, Tata, Father. That he's pleased of me. So I'm filled with his love. Jesus was filled with his acceptance, recognition. He never wanted anything from the world. He was free. When people despised him, when people cornered him, said, "You are exorcising with the power of Beelzebul, and you are a glutton, and you're coming from Nazareth, a no important place," yet he's never shaken. So he didn't have any problem of washing the feet of the... Come, sit up there. Sit here. Sit here. Put your leg. I mean, Father washing the feet of the child. I mean, it's easy before the cameras and you all are looking at me. It's very easy. I hope he has washed the feet properly. Anyway, this is easy. In Monty Thursday, washing the feet is easy. But then in real life, Jesus never find a problem in washing the feet of the disciples, because he's full of his love, Father's love. When we are empty, my dear friends, when we are empty, we yearn for the acceptance. We yearn for proper places. We ardently desire it. We feel always empty, not happy, always finding fault, not satisfied at all. It shows your pride. It shows your pride. When it comes to the Bible verses, my dear friends, we are reading from the book of Sirach. Beautiful. Arrogance is hateful before the Lord and before men. Who will love a proud man? Unless you have something to get from him, you will bend your head. You do whatever you want. We don't like them, But then a humble man, we find it very easy to live with. We love to be with that person. Proud. He's hated by God and men. Think about your life. And also, Sirach chapter 10 verse 9. How can he who is dust and ashes be proud? If you really know yourself, what do I have? What do I have to be proud? It's nothing. It's nothing. Imagine I can sing. I can sing a little. I'm not a good singer. Anyway, I can sing a little. But then imagine your vocal cords are gone. You are a mellifluent singer. And your vocal cord is gone. Simple one thread of your cord. Your dust. Your dust. Imagine, my dear friends. No, I had a passion to play the guitar. I can still remember. By 6 months, I learned it, Even in the dormitory, in the seminary, Pute, we can't, after 11 o'clock, it's pin drop silence. You can't make any noise. So I used to get my guitar to my bed. It's a dormitory, about 80 brothers. Lot of brothers are there, about 50 brothers are in the dormitory. So I get the guitar and I press the chord without strumming the strings. I mime it, in the night. That kind of a passion. So there came the annual trip. That was my day. I got my song books. Even today I have them. About 500,000 songs are there, and all the chords are there. I got because I don't have a proper ear, so I have to have my chords if I want to play the guitar. Now I practice the guitar, and okay, fine, tomorrow trip, Guitar is ready, song books are ready, stands are ready, and we wanted a drum. Those days we make drums with X-ray papers, So I went to the carpentry, Candy Seminary, we have a carpentry, and I got the X-ray paper and got a needle, I don't know how to call it in English, like knife-like thing, and I wanted to cut the X-ray paper, and first stroke, cut my finger. Exactly from here. And it's an open wound. Immediately I remember how to play the guitar. You cannot, with your pointing finger, you cannot press the guitar. Simple cut. Whole trip was gone. All my preparation, all my training, everything is just gone. Just gone. I was so sad. Still I went with my guitar and hold it just like and play the drum with the guitar, I just played the drum with the guitar. It was terrible. Who are we, my dear friends? Think about your pride. If you're proud about something, your looks, okay, fine, nice skin, okay, beauty is only skin deep, You look at all the chicken, they have nice skin, nice colors, and you peel off the skin, all look the same. Same with us. You can't fight with your age. We are just dust. If you really look into yourself, my dear friends, you will really look into yourself. You don't have to be humble yourself. You exactly realize what you are. You can't help but be humble. That's exactly, this is not in the reading. I got this extraction from the Bible. How can he who is dust and ashes be proud? For even in his life, decay. While he is living, you will decay. So last time, I couldn't go to the salon. One person, my friend, came and wanted to have a haircut. And he said, Father, here, hair is falling, no? See? So I try to cover it, Now 44, another 6 years, 50. Now hair is falling, the teeth will also fall. I will pay like this and all that. But then that's reality, That's reality. While we live, we decay. How? You can't help but it. Look at yourself. It's a deception. If you're proud about something, whatever it is, your money. Think about rupee now. What can you buy? All the sensations are here. You have money, you can't buy things. No, they have banned many things. And even races they don't bring now. Scissors, no scissors. And how many goods? You have money, you can't buy. We will be like barbarians now in few months' time. No races. Definitely. What money can do. Think about, I can list out many things. Vanity. It's in vain. Think about, it's a deception. You are being cheated by your mind. Mind is so deceptive. This pride is greatest vice of all the vices. Devil can use that. Adam and Eve, they were simple people and they were so happy, joyful. They were enjoying the whole of the garden. And one simple tree of knowledge, tree of good and bad. Forbidden tree, we call that. That's tree of knowledge. God said, don't, son, my daughter, don't eat from that. Okay, fine. Because you don't have to have that knowledge right now. I will give it later. That's exactly the meaning why he created the tree of knowledge. One day you will have it, but not now. So devil was there. If you want to be like God, you don't have to depend on him. You just be like God. Eat from the tree of knowledge, so you will know what is good and bad. And they wanted to be another god or goddess. They wanted to come up. That's inflation. That puffed up idea. They ate from it. And they're done. They wanted to come up. They wanted to exalt themselves. Be like another god. But on contrary, Jesus humbled himself. You read Philippians chapter 2 verse 6 onwards if you have time. It's a beautiful poem. We call that kenosis. Though Jesus is God, he emptied himself and came down to be obedient unto cross, a shameful death. Then God exalts him. That's a difference between Adam and new Adam, Jesus. My dear friends, that's exactly why. How can he be? A long illness baffles the physician. The king of today will die tomorrow. The king of today will die tomorrow. We should paste this in parliament, I think, King of will die tomorrow. Every king, every king and every minister will die. They live as if they don't die. They sin as if they don't die. We all die. Stick to the reality, my dear friends. Stick to the reality. How can you? And then he says, same author, book of Sirach, chapter 10, I'm reading. For when a man dies, he will inherit creeping things and wild beasts and worms. When you die and you're buried, you are inherited by wild beasts, creeping things and worms. You're being eaten by worms, unless you are a saint. Saint Anthony's tongue is there because he never lied. What will happen to our tongue, While we live, it will decay. The things that we do with our tongues, And we will die. You don't expect, all the ministers will have different worms and the actors will have different worms. All the good people and position people, rich people have rich worms. Exactly, definitely. You will be eaten by just worms. You dig the pit and you will see sometimes in Madhampitiya cemetery, there we hardly have places to bury, You bury, some parts will come up, and you put the things away, and after the burial you put all the bones and parts again. Same worms. And we are proud. We live like, as if we are the people. And come on, my dear friends. Come on. The reality, the beginning of a man's pride is very important. Verse 12. The beginning of man's pride is to depart from the Lord. Again I repeat, the beginning of man's pride is to depart from the Lord. His heart has forsaken his master. We have forgotten. We are trotting away. We are distracting ourselves from the master. The moment you go away, you will be attacked with pride, That's exactly what happened. Eve was just walking in the garden without the master. And the devil spoke to her. She was having the dialogue with the devil. Satan, Has-Satan, we call him. The beginning of your pride. That is dangerous. If you are before the master, what is the first step of wisdom? Fear of God. You go before him and you realize how tiny you are. You realize who you are exactly. His enormous, his magnanimity, his glorious presence. I'm nobody, Lord. I'm just nobody. I am just grateful for all what you have done in my life. Like Mary, she was praising the Lord. God has done great things to me. Praise the Lord. The moment you go away from Him, you'll be hit with your pride, my dear friends. So that's exactly why it is important. So second reading beautifully speak of Zion, Mount Zion and Mount Sinai. And it's new Zion. The Lord is saying it's a Mount Zion. Mount Zion, it's a new Zion, new Jerusalem. Where in the beginning, when the tabernacle was, when the 10 Commandments was given, Decalogue was given, and the Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai, then the Lord presence before the mountain, you cannot stay. The word says, blazing fire, darkness, gloom, and tempest, and the sound of trumpets, a voice of words made the hearers beg, and no further message be spoken to them. They could not hear the voice. Their ears were burst, They could not see the sight. They would die if they see that presence. Shekinah of God, glory of God. That was the beginning. And on Mount Zion, it's different. Jesus became the ransom, and He paid the price. He came down to us, and He opened that door for us. We can go to that presence because God humbled Himself. He should be our replica. He should be our model. Look at the Lord, crucified Lord. I mean, the one who created the world, glorious, glamorous Lord, is naked, bruised, crucified, and He's silent. Humbled Himself. He could have, with just a breath, destroy everyone. When Peter took the sword and said, Lord, and He said, put your sword again. Can't I command all the angels to come and defeat them? It's nothing. But He was silent. He just wanted to be obedient. With your pride, you will never listen. That's exactly in the first reading beautifully says, mind of the intelligent man will ponder a parable. He will reflect the word of God. And an attentive ear is the wise man's desire. You listen. You will never listen if you're proud. You will never listen. You will never listen. If you listen, you are ready to accept. You are ready to change. That's beautiful, my dear friends. You will listen to me, but do you listen to your husband? Do you listen to your wife? Do you listen to your parents? That's difficult. That's difficult. You want the image. You want the particular person. I would not listen to that person. That's exactly what happened to Pharisees. Exactly, they wanted a person like, from Jerusalem, from Bethlehem. They never knew Jesus was from there. Jesus came from Nazareth. Seemingly, they were covered because of their pride. They never wanted a carpenter to speak to us. We are Leviticus, we are from the clan of Levites. We are the Pharisees. We are the scribes. How can this carpenter? How can He speak to us? But then God spoke to them in humility. Sometimes we are still there, stuck with our pride, stuck with our pride, stuck with our skulls, stuck with our cover-ups. My dear friends, that's exactly why the Lord is saying today, when you are invited, don't look for places. If you are looking for places, look into your heart that you lack something. You are empty within. You are so empty. That's why you search places in outside. Look into your heart. Just go and sit. You have to understand the parable. The Lord is saying, don't look into places of higher. You sit in the lowest place. So the invited person, the one who invites you, come and ask, come, you have a better place. Not with that expectation. Not with that expectation. But then, just humble yourself. It's not pretense. You can't pretend to be humble, You can pretend, very humble. No. If you really know who you are, There's no other way other than humbling yourself. Humbling yourself does not mean insulting you fall cheap. No. Because you're scared, you bow your head. No. That's not cowardness. Humility, it happens with pride, It happens with acceptance. You are so accepted by my Father. I'm accepted by my Jesus. And He loves me so much. So I don't mind being obedient to Him. I don't mind. That's exactly Ephesians chapter 5 verse 21. Humble yourself before your spouse. Because you love me. Because of me, you just lower yourself as a mark of obedience. And you will be raised, my dear friends. So it's a challenging thing, but it's not impossible. If you would feel that you're proud, if you struggle with your pride, I do a lot. Every confession, I make my confession weekly. And one major sin is my pride, I'm proud. My pride is different. I'm not proud because of that thing or that. I'm proud about mission, I'm proud about preaching, worship and hymns, and there's nothing to be proud about, And yet, that's my field. I compare myself with others. It's a terrible struggle. I struggle with spiritual pride. St. Paul did also. In 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 7, Saul became Paul with a fall. He was going to Damascus and he fell to dust, my dear friends. Dust. And he fell on ground and he was blind and he was made humble. Yet that humility was a struggle. Because of the revelations of Jesus, he said, I have a thorn in my flesh, dagger in my flesh. It pricks my soul all the time. I prayed 3 times, Lord, take that away. But he never did, because it helped me to humble myself. Beware of your spiritual pride, my dear friends. So let's go to him. Mother Mary is a semblance of that humility. Mother Mary will teach us how to be humble before everything. So with the rosary, power of Mary and intercession, our mother, beloved mother, let's pray together so that we will be humble all the time. Realize that this is not easy. It's difficult thing. This is the most difficult thing, because pride is the greatest powerful weapon the Satan has in his hand. So it's going to be a challenge. If you realize that your pride, be happy. You are in the journey of humility. So just don't worry. He will help you. He will be with you. Accept it. Realize it. We can't help but go to him and go to the Gethsemane and struggle with your struggle. And Lord will definitely empower you, give you humility so that you will be pleased by God and men and everyone. Think about it.